Oh my God.
I feel all right.
Initiation sequence in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Welcome to Rednecks with Peaches!
What the hell was that video, Bancroft? Why did you want to show us that?
Oh, please come off it. Fair sucker, the Sav.
That
was not me. Disavow that Rob spent the last 5 minutes complaining that he had no video to play, and that's the one he chose. So congratulations.
Yeah.
What did she say? Like hillbilly for cash or something?
I have no idea what she was saying. It sounded like, college girl talk. We can't understand what they're saying. We're live. Hello, everyone in chat. Good to see you.
What? We're live? Oh, shit. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, live.
Okay.
Yes, let's say hello. Jim Cox. I hit like. He's probably asleep. Hello, Jim, if you're not. John, how come in the thumbnail the Asian lady is the only one not looking at the camera? We'll get into that. There might be a little bit of a rant. Yeah. I need to get it out of my system. D-Wag's in the house. Genuine Comics. Shane, good to see you on Samedi's stream today, man. Well done, taking feedback like a champion. It's not easy to do every time, Bancroft. You would know after Joe's dress you down about the Lucent.
It is what it is. You gotta stay humble,
Your lovely wife, Mel B, sliding into your DMs today, Bancroft, I noticed.
She's the one who alerted me to Ethan's reactionary Twitter polls. There were 2 of them, it turns out. The first one was, would you ever drink beer out of a shoe?
Mm-hmm.
And then the second one was, Americans too good to drink beer out of a shoe, which I think are 2 things that we discussed on the show.
We'll get back to the shoey in a minute. Camel Moon's here. He's so tired, but he's here out of solidarity. Thank you. Mo Biggs. John, I say hello to. Who else we got? B Rose is in the house. Mr. Dennison. Oliver from 656. Woodrow. Shane, I think I said hello to you already. Scrolling. Frog G's in the house. Tommy Sarkinen, I saw you. Where's it gone? Jasper Plan 9. Mortal V. Jim is still awake. Good job. Yeah. So hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us. The shoey Bancroft. That whole scenario where they're like, would you drink out of your shoe? And everyone's like, no. That made me want to go and do a shoey right there, right then.
I've never done a shoey.
Neither have I, but isn't it an Australian thing if someone tells you you can't do something, you're going to go do it? Or is that just like a worldwide thing, you think?
I might not be the right person to ask, because I definitely have that impulse in me. Yes. But I don't know if that's an Australian impulse or if that's just a male impulse. Look, I know that doing shoeys is probably an Australian thing, maybe Australian or British. I know it sounds like something that the Poms would get up to as well, but we were the ones, surely, who came up with the word shoey.
Yes, I mean it's very much popularized by Daniel Ricciardo, and that's a whole different kettle of fish, mate. He is in a Formula One car for hours. Must be sweating up an absolute storm, drenched boots of sweat, and then he does a shoey.
Don't they make like $1 million if you win or something, or probably more than that, actually?
Oh yeah.
So who cares at that point? Yeah, I'd drink beer out of my shoe too if I won $1 million.
B Rose says, "I'll drink out of my good shoe, but only if it's a Guinness." Can you set this up, Bancroft? I have no idea what you're talking about. A shoey is where you pour alcohol into your shoe and then drink it from the shoe. that's what a shoey is.
You would presume a beer, not just like you wouldn't take a shot of whiskey from your shoe. You know.
What about if you don't have alcohol like around the house right now, and we had to do a shoey right now? Could you just put something in the shoe and drink it? Would that count? Would that count as half a shoey?
No, I would not be drinking anything but alcohol. You need that state of mind. It needs to be part of the party. That's the only reason I would be inclined to do a shoey. Because I had probably had the same reaction as everyone else does when they first hear about it. It came about after my time, I think. So,
you know, what would be really cool, and I'm just throwing this idea out there because your wife's in the chat. What about when you fulfill the lucent, both you and your wife do a shoey?
There's no way in hell. There's no way in hell Mel would drink beer out of a shoe. That's not happening.
Well, let's class it up, right? Let's change it to like a
look at it.
like a high fashion shoe, right? And let's put some champagne in there. Let's get it real French.
She sips champagne. She doesn't scull champagne. And she's doing the work of the fulfilling anyway. She'll be doing all the packing and everything. So fulfillment is not like some party for her. That represents a whole lot of work.
Yeah, and then when she's finished with it, bam, shoey.
I don't think it's going to happen. You realize she's French, yeah? She's not. She may be an Australian citizen, but she is not an Aussie. There's a distinction.
What about what John says here? Maybe out of a clean glass slipper.
We could probably swindle that, but we don't have a clean glass slipper.
Not yet. Not yet.
We have a skull. We have a glass skull, and we have a glass pistol, but we don't have a glass shoe.
I think that's it. I think we've got it right there. We get a glass slipper, champagne or wine, whatever Mel prefers to drink, and then I'll do a shoey, you do a shoey, and Mel will do a slipper.
Look at Mo's comment. You can drink it from a shoe. We can brew it in the loo.
D-Wax says, how many chicks have ever been so impressed they went home with the guy after he did a shoey? I'm guessing 0, unless you're Daniel Ricciardo.
Darren, you have not met many Aussie Sheilas. Some of these girls will drink you under the table.
Yeah. John brings up a point I wanted to bring up with you and forgot about. We should do our own VB ad.
Our own one?
Yeah.
Hockey did one.
Did he?
It was, yeah. Have you not seen Hockey's ad?
No, I don't think so.
Hang on, I've got to find that for you. It's great. But what were you thinking?
We choose like one of the worst ones and we reenact it. You can get it.
Well, we don't have to be one we choose from. We can just choose like our favorite.
A
mixes. Like you got to be up a pole, down a hole.
That's got to be in there. It's got to be in there.
I like selling a cow. I think that one is like. I think that's great. But I didn't know necessarily. If we'll have any cows here, I've got it for you. I'm going to share it. Actually, I'll put it in the private chat so you can share it, so I don't have to do anything.
Okay.
Here you go. There you go. There it is for you.
All right. Yeah. Let's get this cracking.
It was good too. Where's Hockey been?
I think he's had some personal issues, dude. So, yeah.
You can get it colouring some flats or eating some bats. You can get it while typing in chat. And a hard-earned thirst needs a big cold beer. And the best cold beer is Vic. A long, cold Vic.
There you go.
Oh, that's great.
I miss the VB ads.
Yeah, that's fantastic. What's going on here? Rob wants to get Bancroft alone and then get it in a hole. You can see it on his face. God damn it, Mo. Wow. Yeah, so that's what I'm thinking. What do you think? Is it worth it?
It could be. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure people in my chat would like it. As long as it's not, we don't go overboard with it. Yeah.
Mel says she misses the ads, not the beer gut. Can't you get like a VB light or something to avoid the beer gut?
They don't do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, that's fair enough.
Well, even if you get half strength or like low carb beer, it's still something. It's more than what I normally drink, which is just black tea. Anton Dennison said, I can just put water in the VB bottle. Like that's
very un-Australian.
Yeah. Oh no, it's not un-Australian. It is a bit un-Australian, but it is just I'm not about that. I can't. I don't want to put on too much of an act because I'll forget. I'll forget what I've said and what I've done, and then I'll get tied up in my own web of lies, and then I'll get exposed. I just like to keep it real.
Camel says you can drink it on a box. You can drink it with a fox, but Antoine says you can get it in a didgeridoo. You can get it while having a screw. In fact, I'll have to. B Rose says, has Bancroft ever even lost weight though?
A couple of kilos.
The beer gut is
that might be due to the sickness rather than anything else.
Yeah, you should do a stream where you leave just one VB in the shack during summer, and then you have to drink it at the end.
Ew,
that would be so feral. I'd love to watch that. You can get it with a poster. You can use it as a coaster. Oh, that's good. All right, I got some questions for you. Oh, actually, I got a story to tell you first. No, I'll give you questions first. So Ethan popped by as he does sometimes because he wakes up around this time the other week, and he said something that I thought about. I was talking about no one in CG has a channel over 200K, which is not true because Kanuga has 265. But everyone else is under 200. And he said, it's not about the subscription number, it's about the engagement. Right? What are your general thoughts on that?
I agree 100%. Well, you can build up a channel. You could have built up a channel 10 years ago and not done anything with it and have 20,000 subs. You do a live stream today, no one's going to turn up. You'll be starting from scratch. That's at the extremes of it. Ethan brought it up. Even on his channel, I think he maxed out at 4,500 live stream viewers one time. And depending on the time and the subjects, just say he's like doing a by himself drawing stream in the middle of the night, he might get 400 or 500 people in there. So there's a big variance. And I think that applies across the board for everyone.
And so with the term engagement, is he just meaning how many people are actually watching him live? Is that what he's talking about?
Oh, watching him live, watching the videos, interacting, actually engaging with him and his content and the product that he's selling. So like theoretically, you could have 500. Well, there's channels out there, corporate channels that YouTube will promote that get all these subs, but no one cares. No one's interested. No one's buying because they're seeing products. Like it's just not happening. So, for me, for most people in CG who have a channel, the channel is the portal through which we engage with fans, other creators, have fun, sell books, everything. And the sub count is related, but it is pretty variable. A guy like me who has 2,000 subs can get 100 people into the stream, times that by 10. If it was linear, if I had 20,000 subs, I should be getting 1,000 viewers. It doesn't work like that. So I think it's a pretty spot on clarification.
But okay, so let's say Ethan doubled his channel, right? Wouldn't he just double the amount of viewers he has, or close to? No,
because I think what happens is, take a look at a guy like PewDiePie. I like, especially back in the day when he was doing that race with that Indian channel, he could have been gaining 1 million subs a day, but how many of those were actually hanging around to become a fan and watch and engage and everything? That's sort of at the top end. But if Ethan grew his subs by double, I mean, if he did it straight away, then that would mean something, but that's not going to happen. You would imagine it would be a gradual incline. I don't know. I don't think anyone could say that would necessarily mean, okay, well, now he's going to get a minimum 2,500 viewers. I just don't think it works like that. I think, obviously there's some kind of correlation between, you want more subs, it is more potential people to see it, like there's more notifications going out, all that stuff. Yes. But keeping your viewers, keeping your audience engaged is a content thing, I feel. That's much more relevant. And we've seen that. If anyone who does YouTube knows, if you get on someone popular or you're talking about a topic that's a hot topic, your count goes up heaps. And it's got nothing to do with who's subbing to you. You might not get a single new sub that day, but you've had maybe double the amount of people in watching your videos.
I've got some follow up to that, but we'll just have a quick look at chat. Camel says he has 2K subs. We have 60% engagement. We have 3 times the replays after we go live.
Yeah, I was just looking at that. Can I just comment on that? Actually, we went on Camel Nights. We went head to head with that massive popular stream that everyone was on, like on Shane's channel. Like, no, it was. It was Shane. There was Ethan there, and everyone was there. So we had, by what we normally get, a very low viewership. But now, nearly a week later, it's only a couple hundred views under. So that's a better indication of how actually engaged people are between live and people who watch on replay. I just thought that was an interesting point.
Antoine says, imagine being in a room with 400 people watching you draw. That's quite a staggering amount of people. Yeah, it really is when you think about it like that.
Yeah. When you think about the actual real people involved.
Camel Moon gets surprisingly impressive viewership considering the content is designed to drive viewers away. That's pretty funny. The Quartering has 1 million subs, but only gets about 1,000 people watching his live streams. Yeah. I'm just wondering though, like if he's, let's say it's 5 years from now and he just keeps growing and growing and he's doubled, just doing the same things he's doing now. Like, I don't expect his live viewers to double, but they would significantly increase. Surely
they could. Who knows how high this can go? I mean, who knows what can happen in the future? Like, we all saw what happened. The toys are going to be coming out. Anything can happen. Maybe he starts a cartoon or a movie, whatever. Anything can happen. But I don't think it'll necessarily be because he's getting new subs. It's because of the content that he's making. His Cyberfrog is becoming more popular, or the comic book industry ends up collapsing. The way the comic industry as we know it ends up collapsing and has to go in a different path. Then a lot of people will be looking for answers who haven't bothered to look before. Who will they find? They'll find Comicsgate. So yeah, no, absolutely. I agree that in the future, who knows how high this thing can go, what we're doing. Eventually this may just become comic books. This might be comic books. YouTube is where you go for comic books. I don't know. But
so this kind of segues into what I wanted to talk to you about. You've gone from a non-existent show to having an absolute cracker of a show where you're getting, anywhere, consistently anywhere from 80 to 120 viewers now at a time. Your show was built upon chat interaction. How are you going to manage that going forward? How are you going to keep it up? Because I've noticed, like, all my funny comments, you don't read them all anymore. Right? You're
that's a funny comment.
Yeah, you're missing some, and it's impossible not to, right? So what happens if your show reaches Shane Davis level, where you're getting 300-400, or eventually a lot higher than that? How are you going to do that?
Well, it's harder when there's someone on there, especially if someone's new. That's what started the more recent yes, I do read all your funny comments, Rob, which means I read none of them. When I had Vosto and I'm not even going to try and pronounce her name, M-A, on, because I don't know them, and they were trying to have a conversation. I didn't want to be breaking in constantly, going to the chat. Whereas sometimes if there's a guest that we already know, we're more friendly, we kind of know each other, the dynamics of the show and the chat, I will go to the chat more. And then other times, if it's just Joe and I can have a show just with the chat. It gets harder. There's no way around it, I don't think. That was one of the reasons why people have come to my show, is the exactly what you said. So I think it's just being mindful of it, keeping it. Mo Biggs will, there you go, he says, don't remind us of that show. Mo Biggs will be there to call me out if I ignore the chat too much, and you just roll with it. There's nothing else you can do. I still think that with about 150 to 200 viewers, you can do it to a degree. Anything above that, it starts becoming a total crapshoot.
But that's the thing, like, you're headed there. Like, even in the last three months, like, you've gone from maybe 70 viewers to 80 viewers, and now you topped out today at 125. I don't know if you saw that. Like, you saw
I thought it was 110. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, but when I was watching it, it went to 125. I didn't stay there for long, but it went up there. So is it something you think about? Like, have you thought about it, or it's just take it as it comes?
No, I'll do what I've continued to do with the show, is just take it as it comes, roll with the punches, feel the, I don't know, energy or whatever. Antoine has pointed this out from the beginning, actually, that, this might be a borrowed time thing. I do try and keep that initial say hello to everyone under 5 minutes, or within the first 5 minutes, including me saying hello and everything. But it's not really something I think about. I think you can't really plan YouTube that well, because then it probably becomes stiff, and it becomes more like a TV show, which is what people are trying to avoid. they like the personable, what is it? Personable approach of YouTube.
Mo really wants me to read this. This whole topic is just Rob trying to go into having him on as a permanent guest to kill the growth of your channel. Sure. Yeah, that's the thing though, Antoine, is like it's kind of what I'm getting at. Like Ethan, he'll bring up chats here and there. He'll read super chats, but Bancroft reads he used to. He's slipping now. He doesn't so much anymore, but he used to read the majority of chats.
Then used to read the majority of chats. What I do is I just highlight them, and then if there's a pause in the conversation, I will read out certain ones. But I've always continued to highlight relevant or funny chats that I see in the chat. I think that will always continue to happen. When Ethan is by himself, he is great with the chat. It's different though. So whereas in my stream, if you write a comment, you have a pretty good chance of it popping up. Whereas in Ethan's chat, it's more of a like winning a lottery if he actually brings it up.
It goes by so quick.
Yeah, but that's good too. It's like it's more of a moment when he finally does. So it's not worse or better. It's just it's just different.
Okay, cool. Can I tell you a funny story?
You can try.
Jeez, that's brutal. When I first started doing this replicator thing, right? One of the characters was inspired by David Boreanaz, the guy from Angel. You know who that is, surely. The guy from Bones, the guy from Buffy.
Does he have a big forehead?
It's not you. It's not you, Bancroft. How do you not know who this dude is?
I never watched any of those shows. Like I've seen promotional material.
You would know this guy. Let me
I'm
get
sure
a picture.
I do.
Him, yeah, you know him.
I
Angel.
know him. Yep.
Yeah. So anyway, my wife is like, you should tweet him and say, hey, this character is based off you, right? I'm like, okay, maybe he'll notice it and you'll get some extra pop, extra clout, so to speak. So I did that. I said, hey, DB, this character from my book his look is based off you. Do you know what happened next? You
got sued.
I got a cease and desist letter from his lawyers. So that's a word of warning.
Inspired
by
not
everyone in chat. Yeah, everyone in chat. Inspired by, not based off.
I mean, anyone could have seen how that story would go. So, did you go to your wife and say, thanks, honey? Great idea.
Yeah, we had to go to a lawyer, actually, and find out what we needed to do. So she worked with some, so it wasn't a big deal.
You just cease and desist saying it was based off him, and then say all of these characters are, purely coincidental, any likenesses. I do the same thing. I've seen cool characters on TV shows and thought, yeah, I like that guy's look. But I don't, it's not as if the artist is out there tracing, stills from the TV show. So I don't see why there would be a problem.
Anton says, ask Bancroft to say the word head.
Yeah, head.
And then ask him to say the word forehead.
Forehead.
I thought that was hilarious.
I get to look at the size of that bad boy. You could land a plane on that.
That's crazy. You really could.
Oh well. It's always been like that. This is not a receding hairline. This is just my hairline.
This is a receding hairline, both sides.
As long as you got that bit at the front sticking there, like it's like a widow's peak.
Yeah.
You could totally be a vampire with that.
Could I? That'd be kind of fun. This is a question more for chat than Bancroft and me, but I'm going to ask him anyway. There's been a few books that have hit issue 2, issue 3, not heaps of them. How likely are you and chat to back a book that's like a second or third of the series?
More?
Yeah.
More likely is my answer.
Mm-hmm.
Because, well, you just automatically know, okay, so this is a person who's doing this for real. They know what they're doing. They're in it. They're making their story. And then on top of that, usually you can get, the back issues in the package. So, you get kind of like more bang for your buck, so to speak. Because that's one of the biggest problems. I was just catching a stream today from a bunch of guys. I won't say what it was, but a lot of people who were previously Comicsgate but are no longer Comicsgate. And it seems like a common gripe they have is the whole waiting so long between drinks, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
Which, if that's your concern, that's definitely you're probably going to have a problem with a lot of crowdfunded books. I don't worry about it. It doesn't bother me. But, that being the case, that sort of eliminates that. If, oh, look, this guy's on his 3rd book and I can get book 1 and 2 all in one thing. Yeah, sure. Why not? You get to read a much more substantial story.
B-Rose says, highly. If I read 1 and 2, the story has to be good. Shane says, yep, pretty likely. Depends on the sales growth or decline, but more likely.
There's a point. Yeah, there's a point. Most of the time, the sales do go up in crowdfunding from book to book. But there have been some cases where they've gone down. And you would imagine it's because the initial releases weren't all they were cracked up to be.
Depends on the story. If it's good, you want to see where it goes. Depends if I like the first one I'm on. If I am on before, it doesn't really matter. I like to jump on first, honestly, but I do see jumping on second as an option if I hear good feedback. Yeah, Perfect 10 was one of the books that I backed second time round because I heard it was good.
Graveyard Shift for me.
Yeah. I think that has less to do with CG and more to do with productivity and waiting for a comic book.
I was just saying, Antoine, I just thought it was interesting that a lot of the names in the chat were people that I recognize who are previously CG, and maybe that's just, and they're all congregating there because they're of the same mindset that this kind of, big release once every couple of years or whatever is not for them, essentially. They were really focused on, we want to get these things out monthly, which is not something I'm particularly interested in all. But, if that's what they want to do, thumbs up, go for it.
Monthly is just such an impossible feat, right? And
it's doable. It's just if you're an independent person, the quality is going to sink. I mean, I've seen plenty of books that you could draw monthly. If you were full-time, you could knock out 3 or 4 pages a day with this style. It's not my style. It's not what I would want to spend my time doing, but people do it. And, some of them do quite well for themselves.
You say that, but I can't see an independent person doing it monthly. Like, they'd have to draw, color, letter, and ship monthly. I don't think it could be done.
Well, maybe instead you do the Eric Canetti method. So you do like 6 issues once a year or something, and you release them monthly. So you work all year, you work ahead of time,
Mm.
you get them all done. So then you're just like campaigning, and then they come out, and then next year you do a seasons of a TV show, something like that, so that people aren't waiting so long. So you get a full 6-issue story arc every year, sort of thing. If you know what I mean. But yeah, I mean, being on you wouldn't do it on a monthly grind. You would need a serious buffer established.
Lots of good comments in chat. Monthly doesn't work optimally with a crowdfunding model. Factor in delivery. Better second print run though. Alterna could satisfy that market. Yeah, it's something I've thought of before. Alterna. Monthly international shipping would be killer. It'd be horrendous. Beanpad's here. New person.
Hello, Beanpad.
Rob, I once did a full book in 2 months. Yeah. And that's the thing, like we preach quality, or that's the intended goal. How much quality can you really put into a monthly book?
People did it. Like people with teams did it. I certainly, it's not even in the universe of feasibility for me.
Me neither.
Look, certain kind of book with a certain kind of style, it might work. So I don't know.
The Dying Days of YouTube asks, do either of you have concepts you'd love to do but feel it's too niche to be profitable even for CG? Bancroft?
I have no concepts.
It's just a listen. Surely you've got to have something else. Surely there's something.
Concepts.
There's got to be something ticking away back there. Just like anything.
I have a couple of story ideas for novels, but not for comics. No.
So okay, well, you finished the Lucent. You're done. That's it. You finished. Your show's over.
In comics, well, the Lucent is so broad. The way that I've written the Lucent is there's a timeline of events that stretches back, tens of thousands of years, and can go forward however long you want, no matter. And I've selected, just like in Star Wars, Star Wars is a massive timeline that goes back to the days of the Old Republic and who knows however forwards. But George Lucas chose to focus in on Luke Skywalker and Anakin Skywalker and that tiny little sliver of Star Wars lore. So once those movies are done, there was the expanded universe could happen. So, once the story of Ella is done, her arc, there's God knows however else you might want to dig into, whether I do that or someone else does it, whatever.
So you pretty much you're in a situation where you can do whatever concept you want in the Lucent series.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, it's a pretty open system, and because it deals with history, you can take any event that you like and reinterpret it into like the Lucent history sort of, so just like any event, like say I don't know, some great battle of history, and okay, well, there was a person in there that was like some involved in my story, and and I love all that sort of stuff. So you could do pretty much whatever you want. So if people are still interested by the time I've finished this series that focuses on Ella, I can go in any direction I choose. I have no interest in any other thing though. This is my I've been obsessing over this for 10 years. I don't think it's going to change anytime soon.
You don't want to do like a horror, you don't want to do like a superhero,
I can do a horror in the Lucent. I can do a horror. I actually was considering doing side books that genre hop. Doing a fantasy / wizard type book. I've got a story of that. I've got a story. I could set it. I mean, I could do all kinds of things.
I do, yes. The answer to the question is, yeah, I have a few concepts. I've one like that's Star Trek kind of inspired. bit more fun and more action and more sexiness. I've got one around like centered around dinosaurs that I would like to do, and there's also like I want to do like a silly one, like Believe It or Not type comics, just like short, funny, stupid things. I think that would be cool to do, but I probably won't do that one.
Well, I think the question was, do we have concepts that are too niche to make money in Comicsgate? And I don't, obviously, but I don't think such a thing exists. I mean, as long as you you can set as low as $500 goal, and if you might be happy with selling 30 books, and that's a success.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, Antoine. Rather than offer monthly products, I'd rather see a larger annual product. For example, an annual 120-page book. But in my opinion, a 48-page annual book is suboptimal for the average person. I'm not 100% convinced that we have found the exact right model yet.
I don't think there is an exact right model. I think that's the reason why we haven't found one, because there isn't one to find. And that different people have different like optimal models with different stories. Sometimes it's just not like 48 pages is just not enough. Sometimes 48 pages is too much. It really kind of depends on the story you're telling. Is it an epic ongoing series? In that case, you probably want more pages. Is it a short action comedy? Maybe you don't need as many. I don't know, but it seems to me that there's a whole bunch of different kinds of readers out there that want different things, and some of them, waiting a year for a 48 pager is not going to happen for them, but for others, they're happy to buy the toys along the way. So just I guess each creator just has to figure out for themselves what their audience wants from them, and you would probably figure that out by doing it, and then if it's growing, you're on the right track. If it isn't, time for a course correction.
That's interesting. That's interesting. Mo says, I have plenty of niche concepts, but I tend to go with future household names like ARO and Baby Seal, Navy Seal. Where's ARO, Mo? Where's ARO?
That's on me. That's on me. I need to get this Lucent stuff done because I need to start getting these trading cards going.
Oh, so you're letting down the team.
So yeah, I'm too many balls in the air. What can I say? I can only juggle so much.
Tommy says EVS will be monthly. It just is with Starblade's Creed all in all caps. That'd be interesting. That could work.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at it like that, if someone's, if he ends up publishing 12 properties through all caps and could somehow figure out a way to synchronize it so that, each one is releasing a month, that seems pretty like a lot to organize, but who knows in the future. Then yeah, you could say there's a monthly. Yeah, we even buy. Start with every 3 months or 4 months. Try to get down to 2, whatever. That would be a pretty big marketing thing. You'll get something from all caps every whatever. On top of the back issues that are always available on eBay or wherever they're available. Like I could totally see something like that happening. I know it's not the same story, but all caps is sort of starting to get a house style in a sense, like a quality. You're going to get a certain level from an all caps book.
That would be really interesting. Like if you did like a quarterly subscription or something, and every 3 months you get X, would it work? Would he want
I
to
don't
do it
know.
that
I mean,
way?
his method is working pretty damn well. So I don't
And
know if he'd want to be messing with it, but
it's going okay, I guess. it's all right. Yeah, there was a comment up here I wanted to read, but Woodrow says he wants you to do dinosaurs, Bancroft.
the dinosaurs don't fit into Lucent.
It's too far back.
It's too far back. My story goes back, human civilization, but not human civilization as we talk about it now. Like human civilization as is in the story, not quite 60 million years. No, and it doesn't get that loopy. Like no one's digging underground and finding a cave full of dinosaurs or anything like that. It's not gonna.
That would be cool, though. Here's a question for you and for chat, right? If let's just play hypotheticals. If you were gonna subscribe to something monthly, how much is the max you'd pay for shipping a month? 15?
It would be proportionate to the product. So if it's like if it's like a 25 or whatever book, assuming that's what it would be. Yeah, we normally pay 15 anyway.
We pay way more than 15.
Oh, I usually pay about 15. I mean, I have seen 25 on a 25.
Yeah,
I've seen $35.
I've seen higher than 25 too.
Yeah, probably about 15. I don't know. That is a pretty big commitment, though. I would see. That's the thing. Like, it's not something that I would necessarily be interested in, but I know a lot of people would. I would be more interested in selecting, picking, and choosing the way it is done now. I wasn't particularly interested in backing Snowman until I've just recently seen the colors. Now I am very interested. If anyone's seen them, they look amazing. Some of the best colors I've seen in a CG book ever. So yeah, now I am interested in backing, but there might be other stories that I'm not necessarily interested in. So yeah, I don't know. It's a difficult one. It would be. I can see how it would be a pretty big barrier for international backers, but I guess that's just the way the cookie crumbles. I see Tommy saying, you subscribe digitally. These books look so good in the flesh, like the cyber unforgettable tales. Like they're so cool, the actual items, that it wouldn't interest me to read them digitally. I want the physical thing. Like I was just showing off my Mac Smith books the other day, in the cool slipcase with the hard cover and the gold foil sticker, and there's something about that. I read them digitally anyway, but I don't feel like there's any ownership attached to that.
Yeah, it does. It is a little bit crazy that what you're saying makes sense, and I agree with you. Like, there's no one right method, but doing it the way Max has done it, with those hardcover slipcases with that foil insert stamped onto it, with the number of people that have number plate, I guess it's called. I mean, that is that's the bee's knees.
Gold standard.
The gold standard. That's the dream right there, I think. Yeah, and that's a good point too, Tommy. Adam Lawson has digital subscription for the Eighth and Kill Journal, both of which I've backed, both of which I haven't read any of the digital and won't. I'll wait for the actual hardcover book.
Yeah, it's kind of like a horses for courses thing. If that's what you're into, excellent. It's there, it's available. Other people don't mind waiting. Me too, Jasper. But that's a function of just me not having any time.
Do you feel like this a little bit as well? Like when I'm not working on comics, I don't necessarily want to read comics so much as I used to.
It depends. Depends on what I know I've got to read. Yes and no. I think I go through
Phases,
through phases. Sometimes you do just want to turn your brain off and just kind of veg out on the couch. Other times, yeah, you feel like you want to do something, read something. Sometimes I'm just being in front of a screen so much I don't even want to watch a TV. I want to just go turn the light, have a low light and just read something. So yeah, it just comes and goes.
Dave says, I usually go for the digital tiers if available to support as many creators as possible. Again, this is like another point. Like this is me talking about the shipping, and I think like if we can't get it to 15 or lower, not many people are going to take a chance on a book if it's more than $15. Do you think that's fair?
Yeah, probably. Especially because considering we're competing with Amazon now, and they have crazy, often free shipping. We're competing globally, so we're in Australia. It doesn't really matter. We're competing with Americans who've got domestic media mail shipping rates. Yeah, it's probably just it is what it is.
So yeah, it's like the person really has to want your book in particular. And if you come across a book that you think might be all right, but you're on the fence, then that shipping cost may keep you on that fence and not purchasing the book. So the digital option is something that people have done and think about doing, and pretty much everyone says not to do it. All the bigger guys, at least. Anyway, I don't know where I'm going with that, but it's just it's interesting.
That's an opinion. That's an opinion. Opinions change. Situations change. A lot of the bigger guys in CG come from the mainstream, where digital comics are looked down on. A lot of amateur people come from the amateur side of comics, where digital is just standard, and lots of people read digital. People read webtoons, people read PDFs, whatever. So I don't think anyone's necessarily right or wrong. It's just, we'll see how it comes out in the wash. You just listen to the people in the chat, see what they say, and act according to what you think is best for you.
I mean, the way Mac is doing it, that's really interesting, and it's not a new method. Like he releases it for free digitally on whatever platform, then he collects it into a hard. Anton was saying you can get soft covers as well, right?
Yeah.
So he's getting the audience on board to.
Yeah, it's what Pete Samedi was talking about today. Like, if you're a new person, you should be going after readers more than anything else, not necessarily dollars, because that's your long-term sustainability right there, is having an audience who are passionate and about your story and want to know more and want to get the next installment. Like all of this shipping stuff, digital, physical, all goes out the window if you have a fan base out there who are saying, I have to get the next installment of whatever. I have to get it, and I'll basically pay within reason whatever it costs. And then they're out there telling everyone else, all their friends, you have to read this. I mean, you literally have to read this to all their friends, and then all of this stuff becomes a moot point. So I do agree that putting out a good book and getting it out there in front of as many people as possible, however you do that, is the most important thing. So in that sense, I really admire what Mac has done, even though it's probably frowned upon in these circles.
And that's the thing, like with the Lucent, you released that digitally a long time ago. That has no effect on me wanting to buy the Lucent, the physical book from you. Like absolutely zero.
I'm of the same mind.
I'm sure some people feel that way. Probably some people in chat right now might feel that same way. But for me, it's not even a consideration.
I don't know. Jasper, I tried to. He is asking if the WWF chat ended up into a normal format. I tried to steer it, but both those fellas, to their credit, they kept up the kayfabe for 1 hour straight.
The whole hour,
they
it
did
didn't
not let
stop.
up.
It was crazy.
And
I was
it was
watching
kind
it.
of like Peter was having a normal conversation, but he was talking like Macho Man Randy Savage. So, hey, it is what it is.
I was watching it, and I didn't know if I hated it or if I was enjoying it. I couldn't figure it out. I was just like, what is happening? Tommy says, back to project on Kickstarter. Got 24 digital comics. Was a good evening reading. Didn't notice CG quality is very high all in all compared to most indies. Dialogue is rough on both. That's interesting. One quick point I want to make about that is I forget I have digital books. Like, if you're ever in the mood to read a book, I totally forgot I had a digital copy of it. So that's another thing for digital for me that it's not appealing. Camel, Moon, and Antoine have made similar points. I want to read good comics. I'm less likely to take a chance because so much is garbage. Antoine says, every crowdfunding book I receive, I flip through it for a few minutes, put it back in the bag and on the shelf. I'm praying I get one that looks like a good read, not just pretty pictures. Damn.
I get it. I mean, it's tough. It's tough to find something that you like. I know it's tough to make something that other people will like. I don't know if I've done that. Rob's found some people who like his. It's so hard to. Yes, I liked it. It's so hard to know, and it's so easy to make, to take a wrong step in all this. But I think as long as you're following some basic rules, not doing the sorts of things that got people so pissed off in the first place that they formed Comicsgate. At the very least, you kind of you've met that bar at the very least. Now you might not have written the next Priest or Hellboy or whatever, but all you can do is put it out there. It's very anxiety building in me.
It's a tough one because I'm sure you're aware, but someone and maybe a group of people will not like your book. That's just how it is.
I'm certain of that. I'm certain of it. It's they thought it would be something. It turns out it's something else.
Yeah, you could write Lord of the Rings or Harry Potter.
Well, if I wrote Lord of the Rings, I would be, or Harry Potter, I'd be very happy.
Yeah, but the point is that some people won't like it regardless.
Yeah. it's nerve-wracking. But what else are you going to do? What's your other option? One of my favorite TV shows ever made is a little-known British show called Derek by Ricky Gervais.
Mm.
And it's got a fantastic character in it who's like this drunken bum who's just the biggest loser you've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the first season, he says this is one of the most poignant and amazing things. He says he's a failure not because he didn't succeed. He's a failure because he just never tried in the first place. And that's the only other option. You either sit through the anxiety, you put yourself out there creatively. Even you guys like you and me, independent creators, we put everything we have that we can put into our books. Like, I know that I've left nothing on the table here. There's nothing more that I can do for the Lucent. It is as good as I can possibly do it with my current skill level and input and work and all that sort of stuff. So if it's not your cup of tea, then that's unfortunate. I hope you don't hate it. But as I've always said, it's a story that I want to read that I haven't found out there. So, we'll see. We'll see.
I think, writing the story is going to be up to the writer. Obviously, it sounds silly to say, but there are things you can do to make sure that every other step of the book is the best it can be. You can hire the best artist you can hire the best colorist, you can hire an editor, you can hire Eric Weathers on letters. Just doing those two last things is going to make your book just of such a higher quality than without. And I think that's something that I think everyone needs to do it.
What, hire Eric Weathers?
And an editor.
I needed an editor.
I think everyone needs an editor. I don't think it's just you. I need an editor. I think everyone needs one.
Some stories are less layered. Some stories are just, they're kind of 90s inspired teen books about superhero type people going around getting in adventures and punching things, and that's fine and that's great. There's a big audience for that. At least they should get a copy editor so that there's no typos or anything like that. But then there are other stories that require managing a whole different thing going on with the stories, making sure that we need to have this in here because in 2 issues down this is going to happen, and there needs to be a setup and a payoff and all that sort of stuff. You're trying to subtly introduce the idea that this character is whatever here. Well, is that coming across? It needs to come across because this is going to, all that sort of stuff. So at the very least they all need a copy editor. That's true. But that's not gonna, even if it has great lettering and there's no mistakes, that doesn't mean people are going to enjoy the story.
No,
it's a whole nother kettle of fish.
Not at all. But I mean, you take the same book and you don't have an editor and you don't have Eric on letters, the book's going to be significantly worse. That's what I think.
Well, especially if you've charged $25. There are sort of bare minimum aspects that you would expect from the book. For me, I like to think more of, on top of all that stuff, continuity, internal logic, character development, interesting characters, that sort of stuff that I think have fallen to the wayside in the mainstream in lieu of diversity and, we need this new teenage girl to be the most kick-ass ever because we're pushing her this month. So she's going to beat up this guy who's supposed to be the strongest guy in the whole universe. So all that sort of stuff. This is what you want to avoid. So I think you think about that stuff as well, on top of all the other requirements. And I think, once we all start hitting those benchmarks as well, we'll be well and truly on our way.
Jasper says, I've got a personal policy. If I'm entertained by your channel, I'll buy your book to show your appreciation for time spent creating content. I rarely send super chats. Yeah, and I prefer that. Like, I don't have super chats open because the channel's not big enough, but I would prefer that someone back the actual book, then send a super chat. Do you feel the same way?
I'll take whatever anyone gives me. The super chats are...
If you had a choice between a super chat and them buying the book, it would be the book, surely.
Not necessarily. I mean, it's interesting. I mean, yeah, obviously you want people to read and buy your book. Yes, that is true. But I view my hope for YouTube is that eventually it will mean that I am able to do this full time.
YouTube full time or comics full time?
Comic books. Like I think the best way to become an independent comic book creator, publisher, whatever you want to call it, in 2021 is to essentially do what Ethan does. You have a YouTube show that pays his bills, that's his life money, and then he has the book. He has his books and his whatever other campaigns, and that goes to his sort of all caps company. I think that's the best method to do it. So I really appreciate all the super chats, because to me that's sort of me growing my like income stream, so to speak. Even though it's not there yet, it's just more of an income supplement at the moment. I hope we can grow this thing far enough that's on the cards for the future. And it's smart to have multiple income streams.
Oh man, Ethan has it locked down, doesn't he? He's got eBay, he's got YouTube, he's got crowdfunding. He's got it nailed down. He's probably got other things, but I can't remember.
Oh, Passion is drawing full time. He says it's a great job.
So that's the fantastic thing when that happens. Camel says, I'd rather have a super chat if someone's willing to support me but doesn't like the comics. Antoine says, I see it as separate. I like paying to support people, entertain me regularly. I think that's good too. Leroy asked me a question the other day, and it kind of threw me because I didn't know what the answer, how I felt about what I said. But he said, if someone bought your book without the intention of ever reading it, would you care?
I think the reason why you're having a hard time answering that is because of the way it's structured. You would obviously hope that people read your book, but I'm a realist and a pragmatist, and I have a family and kids, and I'm working however many hours in a day. I personally have a stack of CG books that I haven't gotten to yet, and I know depending on the book, it can take half an hour or even less to read a comic, but sometimes half an hour is actually hard to find in a day, depending on how busy you are. So I understand, but someone would buy it with absolutely no intention. I would just consider it as patronage. Just they may not necessarily be into it, but they want to support you. So it'd be like a different form of a super chat.
Yeah, because ideally you want them to read it. That's the whole point. But if that's the way they're supporting, that's fine. Why is Jim getting called out? You're not getting called out, Jim. As far
I
as
think
can
there's
tell.
talking about this this topic, isn't he?
I can't see it.
Mortal V says Bancroft is a slow reader because he has to look up every other word in the dictionary. I am a slow reader. That is true, but not for that reason, though.
Let me ask chat. I have a question. All right. I noticed when we talked about this that the majority of people were brought in via blood honey from Ethan. Like when I was talking about crowdfunding, the first one I did was prospects on Kickstarter, but the majority of people saying it was blood honey. So here's the question for you guys: if you had to recommend one book, just one book to show how good CG is, what would it be? And it can't be an Ethan book. Let me know. I find that interesting. I don't know if you want to answer it, Bancroft.
Yeah, I'm happy to answer it. I
What would you
gave
go
3
with?
responses. So either of these
Sick.
either of these would do. It was Graveyard Shift, Only Death Can Save Us, and Monster MD. They're the ones that I would recommend.
I won't even take it personally. Frog G says, "Nope, I was brought in by Blade Devil." That's really cool, dude. Because that's a whole different audience, pretty much. Monster MD. Kozor's not out, so it doesn't count. Oz, you got to give us another one. Monster MD. I have a stack of unopened CG mailers. Get onto that, Jim. Monster MD. Jeez. Six Gun Gorilla. Monster MD.
Yeah. Six Gun Gorilla would be another one. It would be depending on who's asking. That's why.
Yeah, I don't want to say that though. I want to just have like a generalization of it because
What if it's a 10-year-old girl?
Well, it's just that's not the question. That's not the question, Bancroft. Battle Maiden Knuckle Bomb. Blade Devil. Yeah, he's definitely is CG. He has CG people on all the time. He's a really good guy, actually. I really like RG. I missed Doom Fate by Passion. Bancroft, slow reader and managing chat during the show. Mad respect. Yeah, I often wonder if Bancroft should let Joe deal with the chat and he can run the show. But Bancroft is a control freak. So
Joe turns up every day.
Me,
without question.
This guy.
He does not paid for that.
This guy.
What? What about this guy? What are you talking about?
I turn up every day. To your
But
chat.
you're not on the panel.
Well, you don't let me on, do you?
I don't want to say, "Hey Joe, I want to give you some work to do here." It's not like that. I'm happy to have Joe there. I don't want to put him to work.
The Shanu. Only Death Can Save Us and Monster MD have been the standouts, which is cool. I'll just assume that no one's read Replicator. That's fine. Don't worry about it, guys.
I thought about Replicator, but then I thought
I don't like Rob.
Had already released Replicator.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you launched the remastered, the whole, like, were you CG from the moment you okay, maybe I just remembered that wrong.
I mean,
so that's why I was thinking CG for you was like halfway through. I don't know why I remembered. Anyway,
you gave me a great compliment. You said it was okay, and then later you followed up with something along the lines of it's actually pretty good. It's got a story that makes sense that you can follow, and characters do things that they would do. I'm like, thanks, Bancroft.
Yeah, that was because I read a book that broke me.
Yeah, it set the bar so low that my book was incredible.
No, I was seriously, I remember, I was seriously like, just, I was questioning my life choices after reading this book. So I went to you straight away the next day and said, Rob, thank you for writing a coherent story.
Yeah. I still need to get it and plan to. Just juggling off. Yeah, man. Just don't stress. Get it when you can. Haven't read Graveyard Shift. Neither have I. So this is the thing. When I first joined CG, John launched Graveyard Shift 2, and I was poor. I couldn't afford to buy all the things for it. Like, so I only bought the second issue.
That could have been as well when, a single book was $80 for us.
Yeah. So I'm waiting on 3 because I've ordered all of them now. So when that comes in, I'll read Graveyard Shift. Bancroft considers reading my comments to be work. Mel says she'd pay Mo. I don't know what that's about.
She'd pay Mo to turn up and do what he does.
I'll read Replicator when you bloody send it, mate. Yes. Downcast, is my favorite story. The art doesn't measure up to the story. Rob, how did you join? What are the membership fees? I don't know what you're talking about.
You said you joined Comicsgate.
Oh, yes. I don't know what the fees are. Happiness,
you learn
success.
You learn the secret handshake. You get the special card.
I was hoping we were getting our membership badges in the mail when I saw it. Andrew had shipped something to me. I'm like, oh, I haven't ordered anything from Andrew. Is this some sort of secret badge or something we get? Turns out it's probably Starblades. So they're not that exciting.
That's fun words.
Well, not as exciting as a secret membership badge.
Imaginary badge that you just made up in your head.
Yeah.
Any sense.
Exactly. Like half of my streams. So I don't know if people in chat realize this, but there are like backstream shows where, like after Bancroft show, for example, Bancroft and Joe and Pete hung out until they had to do work or
it was like an hour long. It was an hour and a half show where, because I was working, Joe and Pete just like completely stopped with the kayfabe and just had an hour and a half long discussion about what's gone wrong in the industry and all that Pete's had to deal with and go through and get, to like, it was a fantastic conversation that had one member in the audience, me. And, that happens sometimes and you're like, why did we, stop? I could have just kept this going for everyone in the chat, but it just doesn't work like that.
No, because like you have to be really careful, I guess, about what you say. And even if you intend for something to come out a certain way, it can be taken in a different context. But yeah, I mean, lots does happen behind the scenes. One thing that I've realized is it's not just me that has trouble with artists and getting books done. It's very, very, very common. And I think you'd probably find that most creators run into it at some stage. Bancroft.
Yeah, it's not encouraging as someone who's wanting to get into this. Hire people to do supplemental stories, because there's rarely anyone I've ever talked to where it's been just a smooth sailing. I mean, sometimes you do hear, this guy was just amazing the whole way through, but the majority of the time it is, you hear all the horror stories backstage. And of course, this isn't stuff people want to
talk about in the open, because it's sort of like, this is stuff that's best said privately. You just, so you don't want to air your dirty laundry out in public, essentially.
But people talk about their frustrations in getting their comics done, and it's not it's not encouraging. It makes me happy I know that I can draw my own comic, but I also realize that there's only so much I can do as one person.
Well, I think you're lucky, obviously, because you can draw your own book, and also lucky in the fact that if you did it like a supplemental or a side story or an ashcan, whatever you want to call it, they're going to be short generally. They're not going to be 48-page side story, I would expect. Which is really kind of really scary, like, because you're hoping that you find an artist who's really good, that 2 you can really work with, and 3 is not going to disappear on you and can get stuff done on time. For 48 pages, that's really scary.
Yeah, reliability seems to be the number one break in the chain with artists. And I totally understand that, because I'm not a particularly fast artist. Well, not a fast artist at all. So I can understand. And what happens when the artist is slow is that budgets get blown out. All sorts of things happen, especially if the artist might be working, doing that full time. And now, they've got a page rate, but they end up making an hourly rate that's, below below the poverty line. So things run into issues. That's why people who can draw well quickly are gold mines. They're the most sought after people in comic books.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's just
essentially
it's
why Kenneth Roquefort is like a comic book god, because he does some of the best art in all of comics, and everything takes him about a day, no matter what it is.
I like listening to Canetti talk about art is, he just wants to get it done. I think he's moved on from that mindset of trying to perfect every single little thing to the point where his perfection is his speed now, and his ability to get pages done. And like, let's be fair, his art is sick too. Like, I don't know if you've seen much of Arcathena, but it looks dope.
Yeah, it looks rad.
Yeah, it's really cool.
I mean, yeah, that is the biggest. That's the biggest thing that I think everyone struggles with, and I think it takes a long time to learn how to draw quickly and well, and how to be economical with your line art, so that you're not over detailing areas that you don't need to. All sorts of things. So yeah, I agree with him in that, and I hope to one day be in a position where I have the skills where I can do the same thing.
And I think like it's a mindset thing with some artists too. Like, I know you did I don't know if the person you worked for, if that's common knowledge, so I won't say the name, but you worked for someone recently, right? In between working on the Lucent, and I was talking to you about it, and you worked on that in your spare time, like as much as you could to get that thing done as quickly as possible.
Yeah, I was in here till 1 a.m. every night.
Yeah,
after work.
Exactly. So you worked, and then you would go to work again to get this done for this person, right? It feels like, and I may be wrong, it feels like that not every artist has that same drive.
Well, to be fair, I wouldn't do that. That's not sustainable. I mean, that's That's like a short burst thing. You can't.
Mm.
That's not healthy.
But that was an opportunity that you had, which was good, a really good opportunity. And to get that done, you did whatever it took.
Yeah, that is true.
So it's a similar with Graveyard Shift 3 for me. I did a supplemental story for John, and I'd work on that from 9 to like 11:30 at night every night for 2 weeks until it was finished. It's, I don't know. It's just it makes me wonder. It makes me wonder about things.
Antoine says that I draw pretty well. Don't be so hard on myself. I'm not being hard on myself, Anton. I'm being realistic. Being able to draw, and you would know this, having done books yourself, being able to draw and being able to do sequential art in a timely manner, in a way that you're satisfied with, two very different things. There are certain just techniques that you have to learn. How do you render things at a distance? How do you render things up close? How do you handle details in the background or the middle ground versus the character who's in focus, and all this sorts of stuff that is just stuff you have to learn. And then on top of that, I think when you get to a level that, say, Eric Kennedy is at, or Kenneth Rocafort, there's just you just have to live and let certain things go, and not try and be a perfectionist with your line art. And I think that only really comes with experience. If everyone's ever watched David Finch draw live, it's pretty mind-blowing how he's just going in there, and he's just like, and you could stop at any moment and think, well, how does he know that he's going to like what he's doing? Because he's being pretty quick with his fingers here, and he's just putting lines down, and it's a mixture of experience and confidence, and also he's not being super precious about it. So I think that's all. Like not being too precious about your artwork is a skill that you can learn.
This is something I'm interested. Well, I thought about the other day, and I was interested in it. I wonder, how often Ethan, because he draws traditionally. I wonder how often he chucks out a page. Right? Does he do that at all anymore? Is he so confident in his work that he nails it every time, or does he take panels out? Does he draw over them? I find that really interesting to know.
We can watch him. We can watch him draw live. He drew a whole page about a month ago on a stream, and I don't think he chucks anything out. He's pretty. He's got his pace that he works with now, and I wouldn't call it fast. It's certainly not the speed that you could ever do, on a monthly book or anything like that. But you do notice that, he's just going at it. There's not a terrible, not like a large amount of going back over a lot of it. Or at least that's not what he's showing on the stream. Maybe that happens afterwards.
Do you think, though, he does like a page or half a page or a quarter of a page, whatever it is, and goes, you know what, that's not the right shot selection. I could have done something better there. And
I got no idea.
He starts. That is what I would like to know. I think that would be really interesting.
I got no idea about that. Although I have here, I will dox Shane Davis. I have been backstage with Shane Davis while he's drawing, and you can hear his little vibrating eraser going every now and then, so when he's made a mistake and he's rubbing something out. So but he draws with the pencil, whereas Ethan draws with his pen. So it's crazy. It's pretty different. I understand it though. I understand how he does it. It needs, but not necessarily just because I understand it doesn't mean I could do it.
Hmm. And like people say, EVS is slow. Not slow, but he takes his time. But if you locked him in a room for 24 hours, I think he'd go all right. I reckon he'd surprise people.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Maybe he does do that. I don't know. I don't know. I'm concerned how fast I would be right now because I haven't drawn for quite a while now. Like the last pages I did with my extra 4 pages for the Lucent, I did them a while ago.
Do you want to read that?
Rob just called someone slow. Yeah, there's the irony.
Tommy says EVS seems to work on different pages at times, meaning finishing some panels later. Yeah.
I like to work in a production line. So I find I'm at my fastest when I'm just like doing the same thing. So it's sort of like getting a steam engine started up and rolling. So I'm like, okay, I'm drawing hands today, or I'm drawing hair today, or whatever. And I'll just sit down and I'll just go through the pages, inking all the hair. You know, it could be across 8 pages. And by the time at the end of it, I'm just banging them out and they're getting better and better as I go. And then I find that I can really improve my speed that way. That's a bit of a different meaning.
EVS used to do 6 mainstream issues a year. At his best pace, he did 9 per year. He takes his time because of all the detail puts in his work. Yeah, yeah. I would, yeah. He was also forced to finish in short time frames, so now he prefers to take his time. Yeah, I just find it interesting. Like, if he would redo, if he chuck out, or if he just has it so clearly in his head now from all the years that he's been doing it that he's got it on lock. I'd be curious. That's all.
I hate having to redo panels.
It sucks.
Like that to me sucks. Is something that I avoid. Maybe that's what makes me slow, because I make sure it's exactly how I want it to be, you know, before I start laying down the final lines.
This term slow has been employed to describe artists who take their time to produce images they're satisfied with. These guys can work quicker and produce work at the same pace as the fast guys.
Well, I think some people seem to be able to do phenomenal artwork at a pace that I do not understand.
Yeah.
So,
but it's also
I don't know how they do it
too.
No, there's some people with incredibly detailed styles.
Like who?
That are just pumping things out. Dalkione.
Isn't like he really slow?
Probably, but that piece that he did as Salamandroid, like that's insane. That would have taken me, I don't know, a month to do or something like that.
All right.
Is what I'm saying.
Off the rails.
No, I haven't. I don't know. I don't know if Dalkione is slow or fast. I don't know. But no, there are people who, like for instance, even Kenneth Roquefort, even Ethan. I would say, well, Ethan's really fast. For me to do a page of Cyberfrog the way he does it, forget about it. I don't even want to know how long that would take me. Take me some ungodly amount of time, probably.
Tommy says EVS has been forced to redo DC covers. Think how much it must be a pain to do all the EVS details again and again to the same floppy. Yeah, that would be horrid. Yeah,
Shane's talked about having to do that too. You get like these young editors sending him back corrections, you know, this girl needs smaller boobs.
Seriously?
Stuff like that.
Oh, horrible. Yeah, Roquefort is probably one of the best examples. He's very quick and really highly skilled. So, but I mean, then again, Ethan is quick too if you consider all the detail that goes into the actual drawing.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's what you're saying.
So,
Keown Cook took quite a long time to produce a handful of
maybe.
pit
I don't know.
books.
I just said Keown because I was thinking of that image and then how awesome it was. The Salamandroid one.
So Leroy brought up a point that closeout streams for books should be on a Friday or Saturday night. What do you guys think about that? And what do you think, Bancroft?
I don't think about this stuff because all of these things happen at 1 o'clock in the afternoon for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a completely different experience to, I guess, all the Americans in the chat. But it makes sense, doesn't it? That people are in a bit of a party mood. They maybe, they want to put their feet up and have a drink and join in the fun. So it would make sense. But then I guess you might have a whole bunch of different books closing out at the exact night, which could work too. I don't know, but yeah, I think it's a probably a pretty good observation.
And does that, because I mean the standard model is 30 and 30, right? But that would change that model depending, unless you're able to line it up perfectly. You'd have to do 30 and 28 or 30 and 30.
I don't think that matters. I think the whole 30-30 thing is just a holdover. I don't think there's necessarily the case that you need to campaign for 60 days to maximize profit. Anyone who's campaigned knows that a lot of those days nothing is really happening.
Nothing.
And even if you get onto a stream, you're just going through the motions, and everyone who was going to back has backed, and a lot of people wait until the very end of the campaign. Anyway, and those people have made their decision. So if you made a campaign the first 30 days and then you extend it for another 25 or whatever days just so you can end on a Friday, I think that's probably a perfectly reasonable thing to do.
Tommy says, does it really matter 30 and 30 versus 15 and 15? I mean, I'm interested in doing something like 30 and 7 or 30 and 14. So that initial month.
No one's figured it out.
No.
I had a massive bump at the like maybe first third of my second half, when ads from Hills versus Babyface promoted my book. As long as I guess the argument might be that if you're campaigning, you have more opportunities. The longer it is, you have more opportunities for something like that to happen. But waiting on something like that to happen is probably not a very smart thing to do. I mean, that stuff is just kind of like winning the lottery, I suppose. You can't bank on it happening. So I think there's people should look into what works best for them in terms of their campaign. I do think the whatever it is, having it close, or like not close but countdown, does give people a bump in the algorithm. We see that. So like just a split campaign, whatever it may be, you could do 15-15. I mean, whatever it is.
Yeah, I think you'd want to do the full first 30. That's what I think. I think you want to do the full first 30, then do something shorter. I don't think you need the second 30. Are you going to, with Lucent 2, are you going to go in demand again?
Probably.
Probably haven't thought about it, but you probably will.
Yeah, let's see why not. Let's see why not. I've done well in demand.
No, I think everyone does well in demand. Like, and I don't know about you, it's so much less stressful when you're in demand. Like when the actually like active campaign is on, like you're wanting backers like every day, right? It's important to get. It feels like it's important to get backers every day. When you go in demand, it's kind of like whatever happens, and it's very non-stressful in my mind.
Yeah, it can be. It can be. It's, I suppose it's,
Jim says the day doesn't matter. Time is more important. Get the most sweep out of US East-West. You can have big jumps in demand. It's better to launch on a weekend. Best to have a plan, not hope for manna from heaven. Yeah, we all can't get shouts out from Az. It's, it is what it is.
he said it looked very dark and mysterious.
Oh, did he?
He said what he's seen of the art and the writing look phenomenal. His words.
I mean, just hearing that creators are stressed about 2 months of campaigning, Little Girl, Big Adventure. Yeah, 2 months is a long time of campaigning. It really is. Graham Nolan does 30 and then 15, then in demand. Yeah, see, I kind of like that better. You could even do something crazy like 30 and 7, like just boost it by an extra week.
Have the week of power.
Yeah, final week. Bancroft is right. The campaign should be individual by the creator. I think you mean like, I don't know what you mean. There's a
you missed most comment.
I'll get there. Berserkador, which has made more than half its money since it's been in demand. Mm-hmm. The Lucent is a mystery even to Michael himself.
Nope.
No solution. No one solution for everyone. In other words, yeah, that's pretty much what it is with everything. There's no one thing that works for everyone. But you know what does work for us, Michael?
Hair gel.
It does actually. I had to put gel in this thing because it all gets flat at the top. Do you know what works for us, Michael?
What?
The fact that you have a proof copy of the Lucent in your hands right now.
I do.
Show it off to George. George wouldn't have seen it yet.
There it is.
Look at that.
It's
oh, that's some nice inside front cover trade dress there.
Look at a little quote in here.
Oh.
It's a quote by John Milton. Well, it's not a quote. It's an excerpt from Paradise Lost that you can all read when you get the book.
Look at that.
So, yeah, I've had this for a couple of days. I have been... now, it doesn't have the nice UV thing on it, but it does have... Can't really see it. Camel Moon said it looked thin. I mean, it's got a... I think
it doesn't look thin.
4 or 5 mil spine.
Camel Moon is talking out of his camel.
Yeah, everything.
So I said to you, I've said to you numerous times that there's nothing like getting the actual book in your hand. How does it feel? Do you have that feeling?
I don't know because it's been so long. I don't know actually. Maybe when I get the final, because with this, obviously I've done a lot of work on the colors. We spoke about, I stripped a lot of the blacks out of the colors so it wouldn't print muddy and everything, and that's worked. But I'm nitpicking everything, so I'm like, this page is too much yellow on it, or whatever. So I just add a little bit of red back into it. So I'm going through nitpicking everything. I've got a double page spread. I don't want to show it because I haven't shown it off. Where a character is too far into the spine. So
that needs to be moved.
I've had to move him over so he doesn't look like he's got like a little. His arm is like this, stuff like that. But Yeah, I suppose it does. I suppose it does feel pretty good. Like it's a real thing.
Mm.
But yeah, very cool.
John asks, how close does that mean shipping is when you have the proof copies? It's going to be pretty close, man. So what Bancroft's going to do now is going to go over the whole book and single out everything he doesn't like about it, and he's gonna make edits. And then when he's
Oh,
finished,
I've been doing that. I've been doing that for. I actually got this yesterday morning, yesterday morning. I've been doing that nonstop during my time out. Oh, George likes my T-shirt. Hold on, Here we go. Yeah, exactly. And then also, I've sent Joe's getting a copy too. So his hasn't arrived yet, but he's going to look through everything as well. We're going to share our notes. Hopefully, if anything I missed, he'll pick it up and vice versa. But very few. There was one so far that I found. One, instead of a full stop, it was like a ... So I have to change that back to a full stop. There was a word that I put in bold that wasn't in bold. I don't know why these things aren't caught. We looked through the book 10 times over. Both on the screen. I had printed out versions, but there's something about holding the thing in your hands. Thankfully, I haven't found any typos yet, so that's good.
How do the letters look?
Oh, the letters are great. The letters are fantastic. I think it really did add. Let's show a page that I've shown off before. I think it really did add. It worked out really well with Eric. When I go back and I look, I'm putting together the crackhead cut right now as well, getting that ready for print. And it makes I shake my head when I look back at that. But I think it was a really good decision going with Eric. Yeah.
That's really cool, dude. How's Mel feel about it all?
She's she's obviously happy, but this is a lot of work. Although Victoria came in yesterday and was like, "Can I pack your your prints into those plastic sleeves?" I'm like, "Yep, go for it." She's at that age, where she wants to do things. Actually, I might have something else to show you off here. What is it? Where is it? No, that's not it. I did have something, but I don't know where it's gone.
What was it?
The print of Ella in the library where she's floating.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know where it is. I brought it in because I was going to show it off. And now I can't find it.
Are you proud of yourself getting to this moment? You should be.
I wish it had happened sooner.
It's always the case.
It is very frustrating. I mean, I know we have to work and provide for our families. So, I have to work and I like my job and everything. That's all fine. It's just, when you've got something cool, like a comic book that you've crowdfunded, you want to be working on that all the time. Oh, hang on. I've had one delivered.
Oh.
Thank you. Thank you.
By your wife or your kid? Oh, dude, that's sick. Go. Hang on, let me go full screen. Yeah, that's dope.
There you go. So I got this printed on the same. This is the exact same paper type and thickness as Russ Leach.
Where'd you get it? Where'd you get it from?
With Mixum.
Oh, okay.
Very reasonably priced. Came out great. I think I might just make the brown here. You wouldn't be able to see it on screen. Just take out like about 20% of the blue out of the brown. But other than that, it's good to go. I'll get the bulk of that printed up.
How much
And,
fiddly crap is there when making comics? It's just
well, I'm also a bit
much.
I'm also a bit fastidious, you know. I like,
Mhm.
because, you know, you're doing it, you want it to be as perfect as you can be. Nothing's going to be perfect 100%, but you want it to be, you don't want to have that, you know, that mingling, oh, I wish that thing had been better, you know.
Mhm.
Get it done right. The first time.
Once it's in print, you can't change it. That's it.
Yeah,
It's done.
yeah. But that was cool. This print represents so much pain and suffering. Look at these friggin' like, what was I thinking?
I don't know.
Look at this ceiling. What was I thinking doing that? Anyway.
Crazy Mad asks, do the people you work your day job with, are they sick of hearing about your comic book? Do they know Michael? That would be the other question.
They all backed it. They all backed it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. They were very generous. That was
All
cool.
my
No,
friends.
they love it. They're blown away by it. They're like, that's so cool. Like, does that mean you're going to be leaving us? I'm like, giving them the real breakdown of, you know, what actually goes into making a book and all that sort of stuff, and and what my hourly wage might be. And they're like, I think we're good for now. So, but you know, they're proud. They, you know, like, they can't believe how well it's gone. So, have they seen the crackhead cut? I showed my boss way back in the day one of my older pages. She would have seen it, but, you know, she doesn't know comic books, so she would have probably just gone, "Oh, that's pretty cool." Yeah, man, that thing is going to be. It's just digital trace background, right? My God. No, I wish.
He wishes.
Yeah, I did base it off a photo. So there is a photo of a library that's quite similar, like in terms of the layout and everything. But no, this is a proper 1 point perspective that I had to go, and I used the perspective rulers in.
Yeah, that was an absolute ripping drawing stream that you did for us on how to draw comics back in the day.
Yeah. And this ceiling as well. There is no reference for a ceiling like this. You have to just guess it, and that was a nightmare. My goodness. But you get these ideas, Rob. You want to have an image, and you think, yeah, I can do that. Yeah.
So I guess Joe he's your person, because like when I get art that I'm iffy on, right? I go to Clayton or I go to you generally.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have that because you're the artist. So do you have that? Do you have that doubt about something?
I have lots of doubts. I go to YouTube. There's lots of really good artists on YouTube who explain things really well. So like I'll do a test print, and I go, why did it print out like that? So, and I have a pretty solid knowledge of why things happen, but you know, that there's obviously I wouldn't call myself a super expert on everything. So, you know, I'll because I know certain things, I'll know what to look for, so I can go find, okay, so maybe I should have done that instead of that, or something like that.
So if you draw a person in a certain pose, for example, do you doubt whether it's correct? And if you do you talk that over with Joe, or you just YouTube it?
Joe will, yeah. Like usually with me, it'll be something that I've tried to foreshorten, and it just hasn't translated well. And he'll say, yeah, I see what you're trying to do here, but it just looks like a person with a stumpy leg. So yeah, you either want to redraw that in a different pose, or somehow make your foreshortening work better. And yeah, that's tricky. That's tricky anyway. But But no, I mean, I have a pretty good eye for what, what's working and what isn't. And it's all within my sort of skill bracket. Like he's not saying, oh, this isn't as good as how such and such would draw it, so redraw. It's nothing like that. It's, like just looking for things that look wonky.
And chat, do you have any questions for us? Because we're going to wrap up in a couple of minutes. So if you have any questions, let us know now. How much do you think you've improved Bancroft art-wise from beginning to end?
This is actually probably one of the most recent things that I drew. Let's see if I can get in character-wise, face-wise. Is it going to zoom? Is it going to?
She looks Asian there. She
does. That's the. That's just because it's not focusing. I see what you're saying there. Let me have a look. Actually, these pages aren't that bad. Let me find something. Okay. This guy here, is that focusing? Not really. Nothing's really focusing. But anyway, I think you'll be able to see once you get the book, especially at the start of the book. This is me learning on the job. I think you'll be able to see the improvement in my figures, in the way I draw the clothes, in the expressions. So this is probably even better quality than you get in the second book, or at least this is probably more close to the quality that you'll get at the end of the second book, whereas you're probably not going to get this in all of the first book, maybe towards the end. But like I said, I'm learning on the job, so everyone will be able to see. I think I've improved a fair amount. And I'm always looking to continue improving.
Mo says, I've tried to help Rob before. You can't help me, Mo. I'm unhelpable. Mortal V says, did your sniffles cause nasal drip to get on your work? Gross.
My sniffles have not been going away. It's been like a month now, and it's doing my head in.
No, that's not the one I want. When is issue 2 planned to launch, Bancroft?
I am going to delay the launch of issue 2 as long as possible, so that because now I actually have
this year.
What year is it?
2021. June 3, 2021.
I am not going to answer that question yet, because basically I launched this book thinking I was, as far ahead as I thought I was, and I just wasn't.
Yeah.
And everyone's had to wait because of that. So I'll be getting the book a lot further along. Now the second book it's pretty much almost in the state that the first book was in when I launched that, in terms of, it's mostly all drawn, it's mostly all colored, but again, there will be edits to a lot of it. There'll be added pages, and that's for storytelling purposes. There will be the colors will have to be remastered. So
just quickly on that, is that something you're going to send off to Joe soon to do a once-over?
Yeah, Joe has read what I've got of the second one, but there are things in there that need fixing. The dialogue needs trimming right down. There's some pages in there that would turn your head upside down.
Mate.
That need
don't even.
some serious culling.
I love me some trim dialogue.
Oh, there's just other certain things that I want to. I mean, I call it like, I want to make the story a little leaner. I want to make it a little more fast paced. That sort of stuff that you can do just with adding in a page here, taking out a page there, changing dialogue, that sort of stuff. So that's what I will be doing once this is all finalized and fulfilled and everything. I'll be jumping into that.
Okay, Mel, when is he launching Lucent 2? Can you let us know in the comments, please?
She wouldn't know.
George says, is Michael signing the book?
Yes, absolutely. I've
All
got a
booked?
page here. This is where I'll be signing it, right here.
Can I recommend silver ink?
Yes, silver ink.
Please don't do black.
No, silver ink right here.
Unfortunately, Sharpie is the best option. Oh, wow. Is that the actual book from Dean? Yes, it is. Bancroft, are you an artist in your everyday work?
I use these two things in my everyday work. That is one of those fancy gloves. Alas, no, I'm a designer, but I do color correction, photo color correction. I used to do textile design, but textile design is a very it's a very fashion-based industry, and the fashion in the current year is no interesting patterns or anything like that. So I have nothing to do at the moment. So I just do other stuff.
How many pages will issue 2 be?
Don't know yet, but I'm guessing around the same. When I initially plotted out these pages, I was plotting them out as album sized, the big French albums. You get like 10 or 12 panels per page. That's what you people who back the Crackhead Cut have to look forward to. 12 panels.
That's very offensive.
I'm sorry, you wonderful people.
Do you want to
you
read that one out?
Lucky people who back the Crackhead Cut will have to contend with 12 panels on a little American-sized comic. It's going to be brilliant. Bancroft got the sniffles from snorting crystallized pouch mucus,
Kangaroo.
and he gate-kept kangaroo pouch mucus, and he gate-kept that information from his channel out of shame, but explains why he turned on the chat. It was the mucus. Yeah.
All right,
Antoine. Yeah, it is way too many panels. It's So basically, what I do is I reconfigure them for an appropriate number.
Let's wrap it up there. Good show, Bancroft. Thank you, everyone in chat. We've gone past 400 subs now, which is pretty sweet.
Nice.
So if you haven't hit like, hit subscribe. Go back to Lucent. Like normally I'd tell you to back something, but go back to Lucent, man. It's nearly done.
Eight backers away from 800.
Damn. Will you print 1 and 2 together in one book as Graveyard Shift did?
I don't think so. No, I will. I'm overprinting number 1, so I will have presumably plenty of them left that I will add to the second campaign, and then once they're sold out, I'll probably do a reprint. It might be a smaller book, like without the additional material and stuff like that. With a different cover completely. That'll be the second edition print. Make that available. So
guys, it's okay. You can like streams that I'm on. It's all right. You don't have to feel bad about it. It's okay. We all have our guilty pleasures. But thanks, chat. You were awesome. Thanks, Bank, for coming on again. I'm enjoying these ones.
Yeah, they're good.
Links are in the description. So if you want to check out anything, go hit the links down below. Mortal V's just chucked it in chat there as well. So thank you, Mortal V. Have a good night or morning, everyone. We'll catch you later.
See ya.